And all of you in this room are a part of that. A big part of that. President Trump won Texas by 1 million votes, nearly 1 million votes. 312 electoral votes. We have our electors in the room. Ed Zetter, Andy Eller, will be with us on December 17th in the Texas House to cast 2 of those electoral votes. But I want to tell you, we had a couple goals coming in to this campaign in Texas many, many months ago, over a year ago. We wanted double digits, and we wanted to maintain and gain on what the president had done in South Texas in 2020. Could we please have all of our SDs who are on the border in Texas stand right now? All of our Senate districts. Robin, Adolfo, SD 31. I know there's more. Yes, Kelly Perry. Generic. I was like, where are you? You know, at Deborah Bell's swearing in Cameron County, she said, Myra Flores said, we're going to turn Cameron County red this year. And by God, if you didn't turn Cameron County a beautiful bright red this year. And our remarkable former Congresswoman, Myra Flores, missed it by a nose, but she is one of the strongest, bravest, most faithful people out there. We are so grateful that she put her name back on that ballot to put that contest in. And because of her race, because of the work that y'all did down there, because Myra Flores was in the mix, because the money was flowing into that region, we have a new state senator, Senator Adam Hinojosa. The stories are remarkable, and the coattails were so long because of what we were able to do in Texas. You know, after convention, right? That SREC meeting was really one of the very first things I did coming out of convention. And from there on, this campaign trained 1,254 Trump captains from July 22nd until November 3rd. I did 120 events personally, online and in person to train those captains. And this was on Fox News just a couple of days. President Trump's reach into Texas, I want to tell you, there are 20 counties that gave him about 750,000 of those 945,000 votes that he got. And they're a mix. And this, I don't have Wi-Fi right now, but the mix is such that they represent all over Texas. We had a gain of 135,000 votes in Harris County for President Trump. Harris County led in the vote gains for President Trump. Now, Harris County is the biggest county, and we do lead in vote count across Texas, but we also led in the vote gain. Dallas County, not far behind. Bexar County, the gain for President Trump, but also in Lubbock and Cameron and Hidalgo and other counties that you wouldn't expect. I know, Gwen, Madam Chair, you had a goal for Montgomery County to increase the vote, and Montgomery County once again delivered bigly and was in one of the top 20 counties for vote gain in Texas. Montgomery County continued to deliver. Amazing gain. We had a couple soft spots from 2020 that were personal goals that we were going to flip this year. Tarrant County, President Trump was under by 1,200 votes in 2020. This year, a 40,000 vote victory for President Trump. Tarrant, big thank yous to Chairman French and Tarrant County. The entire team there, we trained somewhere between 60 and 70 captains there. Our Tarrant County SREC, where are you? Just let me see you. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Williamson County. Yes, yes, Miss Mary Jane Avery, I see you there. From the very beginning, Mary Jane, thank you for everything that you did on this campaign from day one, September of 2023. Thank you so much for being there on this journey with me. But Williamson County, President Trump lost in 2020 by 4,066 votes. I got a call from Michelle Evans on election night that they were over by 7,000 votes in Williamson County this year, one of the toughest, most battleground counties in the entire state. Thank you to Chairman Evans, to Wilco GOP, to the entire team there for never giving up on a single vote in that county, to send Caroline Harris Davila, to help the Senate team there, everybody getting Senator Cruz across that finish line, everything. So huge, huge wins for Williamson County. Thank you so much for that. I want to tell you, I ran into Chairman George all over the place. I appreciate all of his partnership in this campaign, and your Vice Chair, Dorinda Randall, amazing team. They were working so hard, and to the entire RPT staff for putting up with everything, all the hustle at National Convention and all the hustle afterward, and all of my phone calls and visits. Jen Hall is an angel, and Micah and the whole team back there, thank you so much for being incredible partners. I want to tell you, it is not like that everywhere. It's not as simpatico, and we are very grateful from the campaign to have RPT as such a helpful partner throughout this entire thing with election integrity and for all the political purposes. So thank you, thank you, thank you to RPT. Dr. Robin Armstrong, thank you so much for headlining one of our Trump Force 47 trainings, and for being there through everything, and all your partnership, and Debbie Georgiatos, of course. Excited to have her on the team and all of the support that she gave the campaign. I'm just going to quickly work, if I don't want to take too much time, but working down the road to the fights for helping to raise money and coming out ballot draw, all the way back to the ballot draw, Deborah. Thank you so much, Don McDonald. I know you do things from behind the scenes because you can't be out there publicly all the time. Thank you so much for everything you do in South Harris County. Jeremy Story, the amazing partnerships that you helped grow with Bastrop County Conservatives, and beyond has been remarkable. Thank you so much, Dale and Gwen. Just every time I called Dale Inman, picked up the phone, we got things done. And Gwen, thank you for having me out to MoCo GOP. To this team right here with Dan and Rhonda, one of my first stops was in Athens to speak to the club there. Thank you. And Rhonda, the Silsby training for Trump Force 47 and the Republican Women's Club up there was just remarkable. Thank you for all the partnership. Jerry Fisher, Bruce Bishop, motorcade driver extraordinaire, but Jerry Fisher also caucus surrogate out there. Thank you. We did 92. We had surrogates at 92 Senate district conventions and county conventions back in the spring that included our lieutenant governor, all the way from all of our grassroots volunteers. And Jerry, you hit 4 or 5 yourself, so thank you so much. To our amazing SD1 team, Kristen Bentley, I think you were a ballot draw person back in the day too. Our amazing Tarrant County team, to Galen Devine, like my heart. I just don't even know what to say. Every single Trump Force captains meeting you were on every week, amongst everything else you were doing. Ken Moore, I know how many people you trained at the polls to be poll watchers. Thank you. To the Clutch City, from one Houstonian from Clutch City to Lisa and Dave, who are in the clutch, the people to call every single time with whatever it was to help me find whatever it was, or get going out there. Dave, we put together an amazing tour in North Texas with one phone call, and I just cannot thank you both enough for your partnership. To y'all here, Dale, thank you so much for everything in Fort Bend. Christiana and your team here, thank you. Brenda, I know everything that you and Rufus do to pull out voters in your neighborhood in low propensity, a tough part of Harris County, and it mattered. Where we won some of these seats, we won 9 district court races in Harris County, which helped bring the 1st and 14th Republican majorities back to our courts of appeals. Thank you. one of those new justices with us here today, 14th Court of Appeals, Place 8, Justice-elect Brad Hart is there in the back. Rolando Garcia, thank you for being one of the most vocal supporters for President Trump, possibly on the stage, from never giving up all the way through the primary, way before Iowa. Thank you so much for your continued support. Oh my gosh, Mary Jane, Ed, I've talked to y'all, just Brandy, Kelly Perry, real quick story, and I will try not to get welled up, but Kelly Perry, the campaign called me one day and they said, we really want to have someone speak with, have the president speak about this person at the NRA convention. We read an article. Do you think you could find this woman that they read in an article in Texas, a Texan? And I said, let me make a phone call. I called Kelly Perry and we found her. We found that person and she was on stage with the president at the NRA convention, and we never gave up. Thank you, Kelly, for finding her, and thank you for all of the work that you've done for this entire campaign. Cheryl Townsend-Draper, all the SD18 communications, Roman, everything in Harris County, even down to my yard sign that I had to get on my own too, like everybody else. Becky Green, Brazoria is on the map. You're over the top. Everything that you and Shane put into Brazoria County paid off and brought in more votes for those 10 counties and this state to put President Trump up at 13, which did, if you heard me say it all the time, every vote for President Trump will turn out to be a vote for Senator Cruz. And look at what we did with 9 points for Senator Cruz in this election. See ya. See ya. Lucy Trainer, thank you for all your guidance and wisdom. Michael Wheeler, thank you for having me at Kendall County GOP. The ever-present Karen Marshall, never giving up on any lead and chasing it down, tenacious as ever. I thank you for your leadership. Congressman Kiko, glad to have you back in the fold and working South Texas with us. Genaria, Mr. Nueces County, Chuck Burnett, thank you so much. Jane Cancino, it's just glad to have you back in the mix. Lubbock was plus 30,000 this time. Remarkable turnout for West Texas. Robin Cooper, outstanding, just everything from day one. Thank you. Adolfo Tellis, who knew so many New Mexicoans wanted to come to Texas to help President Trump, but Adolfo knows them all. And he helped bring them into the fold to the very best that we could. And I loved working with you. Thank you so much. Brandon Hodges, at this meeting in August, we hatched a plan to put together a training for West Texas. And by God, if it didn't turn out, and we had an outstanding training. I don't see Walter West. Walter was there. I thank him for making it and showing up. We had Senator Kevin Sparks there and so many of the local leadership. It was an outstanding training. And obviously the Salisbury team giving their hanger to make that happen. Thank you so much. Tisha Crow, thank you for everything that you did, and right along beside me all the way through, one of our whips at convention and everything else. Leslie Thomas, thank you for your never-ending enthusiasm. So there, I have eulogized all of you. This is what I would say at your funerals. I am so grateful. This happened because of you. I personally worked with somewhere upwards of at least 2,500 people on this campaign, and that did not include anything for election integrity. And this is what the president posted about our great state and the credit that he rightfully takes for bringing home these huge statewide judicial wins, the work in the Rio Grande Valley that he did indeed gain on his wins from 2020, that we all did that together. And the 1 million votes, y'all, I promised our captains, and I promised each of you that you would have a fingerprint on this victory, and you had a palm print on it because you never gave up. You worked harder than you ever worked before, and guess what? We are headed into a midterm, and now we're playing on our turf. Now our turf. And those Democrats, we're going to kick them to the curb for good, because no one, you don't hear anyone talking about Texas turning blue, do you? There ain't one story about this state and the Democrats trying to come in again, is there? That is what running up the score can do for you. So let's do it again in 2026. Thank you all. Thank you so much. appreciate y'all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. The Trump team was amazing to work with. You probably want your boombox.
Little break.
Appreciate you being here today. And, well, we're back in business again. Yes, sir. I don't know what else to do. It's about a year, actually, I would say 15 years of culmination right now going on. Can we just pray one more time for what's going on right now? Let's take a minute to do that. Yes, sir. Would you lead us in prayer? Sure. Sorry, I didn't know you were still here. All right. Yes, let's pray one more time, and you can never have enough prayer, so let's.
Praying twice over something doesn't mean that God didn't listen. It means man didn't listen. So lift your hands and let's all pray out loud and speak the name of every person you can think of right now. Father, I pray for Katrina Pearson. Come on, just call them out. I pray for all the others, Lord, that are trying to decide. You said multitudes are in the valley of decision. We know that. We see that. It's not just a thought of what will happen in my political future. This is truly a spiritual battle right now. And so, Lord, we speak against the principalities and the powers, those forces that are above our intellect, that are in the spirit world, that rules over everything, and we command them and we pull them down in Jesus' name. You said, Lord, that we can take every thought that sets itself up against the knowledge of you and make it obedient to you. And so, Lord, all of those thoughts, we take them captive. We clear spiritually, come on, family, we clear spiritually the air over the Capitol right now and the atmosphere. Yes, it does say he's the prince of the air, but you are the prince of all princes, the king of all kings, and you hold the keys to death, hell, and the grave right now. And we command in Jesus' name, for the authority that you've given us as believers, Mitch Little and the other believers that are there, we bind in agreement with them right now, and we declare a turnaround, like Moses and the children of Israel were there at the Red Sea not knowing what to do. All Moses did was lift his hands, and you said that enemy was gone in one day. And we command this to be not a progressive thing, but an instant thing, Lord. Turn it around. You're the God of the turnaround, Lord. You're the God where Esther and Mordecai, there was no hope. But, Lord, you ended up turning it around where they got to defend themselves. And Jewish people still celebrate that victory today. And we celebrate the victory you're bringing forth. And we thank you. Come on, take 10 more seconds and just call those names again. And just say, Jesus, you are Lord over them. God, you are the great and mighty Lord. Speak right now and turn it around, Father. We thank you, Lord. We agree in these things, and we declare Jesus is Lord over the Austin State Capitol and this state in our lives. In your mighty name we pray. And everybody said, amen, amen. It is done.
All right, we're back in session. We now have the amendment that was put together by Melinda Morris on the screen. So if you can speak in favor of your amendment, then we will go into the opposition.
The purpose of these amendments is to further define medical care. They can claim that putting a patient in a room on a gurney and giving them a glass of water was care. But when you define medical care as standard of care, that actually defines what the physicians are required to do to care for particular conditions. So that adds a definite definition to this. And physicians in Texas do not have the right to reject care to patients. They are obligated to provide care. And the fact that these physicians are just neglecting their duties, neglecting the care of these patients, and allowing them to just be sent from hospital to hospital to hospital because they don't want to deal with it, that's against the law. and they should be held to medical negligence, medical malpractice. The medical boards ought to intervene with this, and the physicians that are doing this and the hospitals that are promoting this, they need to be sanctioned for this. So that's the purpose, is that it's just further defined that the medical care is based on standard of care for these patients. And they should be investigated for medical malpractice and the appropriate penalties applied.
Thank you. Do we have any opposition? Seeing none, unanimous consent. Can we accept the amendment? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. It is amended. Now, do we have any more amendments or discussion? Seeing none, we're going to vote on the resolution itself. And it is moved that SREC adopt a resolution reaffirming the right to care for pregnant women. All in favor, press 1A. All opposed, press 2B. And if you're abstaining, press 3C. 1A, 2B, 3C. Yeah, 58, 59. We're missing 4 people. 5, 3. Who are we missing? Susan Lucas, are you here? Can you vote? All right. We have voting is now closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Results are 64 to 0. The resolution is adopted. Scott, we're number 10. All right, we're going to take a pause. Give me 1 second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next resolution is a resolution to rein in the abuses of the Texas Ethics Commission. And on behalf of the Resolutions Committee, I move passage.
Thank you, Scott. It is moved that SREC adopt a resolution to call for the reforms to the Texas Ethics Commission. Are there any discussion on the resolved clauses?
Trevino, Senate District 21. I'd like to, on the resolved clauses, yes, I would like to make a motion to delete the next to the last one regarding stripping the TEC of all jurisdiction over private citizens and limit any enforcement power to public officials.
You want to strike the entire resolved?
Correct.
I have seen it. Okay. Do we have a second? Who's seconding? Randy? We have a motion to amend and to second. Do we have a discussion? Can you speak in favor of this? Explain this.
I'm speaking on behalf of all of the people who live in places where the public officials have in the past the candidates, because this, according to this language, candidates would not have to file campaign finance reports. It says public officials, which a candidate is not a public official. In addition, it doesn't require PACs to file campaign finance reports either. And in my area, for many years, no campaign finance reports were filed at all by local officials. Many of those campaigns were funded with black money. And when I say that, I don't mean like from some unknown US citizen. It was literally from drug traffickers, because that way they could get the money, they could get the politicians who they wanted in office. I want to tell you that it was only 2 years ago when one of our local officials, when he was interviewed about why he had never, in the over 20 years he'd been in office, filed a campaign finance report, said that in our little rural community, we didn't have to follow rules like that. So these people really abuse the situation, and I want candidates, because I feel like I have a right to know, and I feel like people want to know where the candidates are getting their money from. In addition, that includes PACs. So I want to know where PACs are getting money from, because then they contribute to the candidates. So for that reason, I thought the easiest thing to do was just to strike the entire paragraph rather than, but we could also add other language. But that's what I just moved, to strike the paragraph.
All right. Do we have an opposition to this amendment? Seeing none, we are moving forward on the amendment. All in favor of striking the words "to be further" and "resolved" all the way through the amendment, say aye. All in opposition, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. Resolution is amended. Now, do we have any more further discussion on the resolved clauses? Are there any discussion on the whereas clauses? Seeing none, is there any discussion on the entire resolution? None? All right, moving forward. We will vote on the adoption of the resolution calling for reform the Texas Ethics Commission. If you are in favor, press 1A. If you're opposed to the resolution, press 2B. And if you are abstaining, press 3C. 1A for yea, 2B for nay, 3C for abstain. All right, the clickers are coming up. Hold on. And pointed at Virgil. All hail, Rhonda, and Dawn are the three. Just Dawn now. All right, the voting is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the results are 63 to 0 to 0. The resolution is adopted. Scott, resolution number 11.
Yes, this is the final resolution in the Resolutions Committee report. Yeah, I know. But I do want to make the body aware that there is a resolution that Karen Marshall has written that may be brought up in new business. We would need to suspend the rules for, but it would be a quick one, I would think. Thanking all of the volunteers and people who brought us the victory that we had in November. So maybe it's a little out of order, but I'd like for us to do that when we get to it. The other thing too is if we have a result from the caucus, I have a resolution written and prepared that would that we could bring up in new business if we have a result by then that would be supporting it. So don't pack up all your stuff as soon as we get to new business, because we may have a little bit more. But anyway, with that aside, the last resolution we have is the resolution for greater judicial accountability. And on behalf of the Resolutions Committee, I move passage.
Mr. Chairman, Jim Pickle, SD.
Thank you, Scott. Give me 1 second. It is moved that SREC adopt a resolution to call for judicial reform. Are there any discussion on the whereas clauses?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Jim Pickle, SD8. I move to recommit this to the committee. I believe I have a majority of people in the committee that are in favor of it. We got this really late, and we haven't had a chance to look at it.
Okay. We have a motion to recommit it back to the committee. Do we have a second? We have a second. Do we have a discussion on this?
Yeah, I'd like to address my motion.
Yes, sir. Can you speak into the microphone?
Okay, yes. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it is turned off. You got to eat the mic, apparently. Closer.
It's not, the light's on. There we go. All right. You have to push the right button. That's the key. Okay, this resolution in the whereas paragraphs has several just factually incorrect statements. And because of that, we probably should take it back to the committee and let those be modified so that they're factually correct. Now, I'm a trial lawyer, so there's nobody in this room that wants judicial accountability and transparency more than I do. Trust me. Okay. But we want to do this right. And we don't want to be saying things that are factually incorrect because then we look dumb. Okay. For instance, go up to the top. Okay. Texas courts currently lack a standardized reporting mandate to ensure a consistent documentation and transparency of judicial proceedings. That is not correct. They may have an insufficient one or one we don't like, but they have one. So to say they don't have one is factually incorrect. The current system of handling judicial complaints lacks transparency, with complaints against judges being kept confidential from the public they serve. Misleading, because once a complaint has been sustained, it is public record. And we don't want just complaints to be in the public record, because anybody can be accused of anything, and we don't want that to come back and ruin somebody's reputation. So we would want to go back in committee and maybe make that the sustained complaints or some language like that. Existing financial disclosure requirements for judges are insufficient. I'll buy that. I'm explaining why I want to recommit it.
Speaking for why he wants to make that motion.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I think we got it, Jim. That's anyone do you have more? And others. There you go. All right. Anyone in opposition to recommitting this resolution back to the committee to correct it, bring it back on the next cycle? No one is opposing, so I believe with the unanimous consent, we're going to go and put it back into the resolution back into the committee. We're going to vote without objection is what I meant to say. Do we have objections? No objections. All right, we're going back to, but we still have to vote, right? It's a record vote. We're done. That was the last one. All right, thank you. Scott, thank you for all 12 resolutions. And yes, sir.
Can y'all hear me? Michael Quinn Sullivan just tweeted this. Texas GOP caucus will be doing a third round of voting at 3 p.m., whether Burrows and his guys return or not. 57 members are in the room, and 31 of Burrows' supporters have left.
So, well, which means we're going to have a floor fight on the 14th. So, all right. Yes. So we may have a emergency SREC meeting just to pass a resolution about that. We'll work on it. That's it. The resolutions committee is done. Thank you, Scott. I am calling upon our rules committee chair, Jim Pickle, to have our rules changes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jim Pickle, SD8, Chair of the Rules Committee. I'm going to make this quick because, I think we lost the 45 minutes that we gained at one point in this time today. So, yeah, probably. Well, half of it was because of me. Yeah, agreed. Well taken. I would like to do a quick shout out to the Rules Committee members because they're doing a lot of work and they're going to do a lot more work in the next 2 years. Steve Evans is the Vice Chair, Leslie Thomas, Melinda Morris, Dale Inman, Matt Patrick, Deborah Feit, Kristen Bentley, and Chuck Burnett. And I'm honored to work with all of them. They're doing a great job. Okay, so now the Rules Committee report. As you guys remember, a couple of times ago, we heavily repaired the bylaws. Anytime you do a rewrite like that, there's going to be I's that weren't dotted, T's that weren't crossed, other cleanup that needs to be done. And that's mostly what this report is today. So let me just go to the report. Should be up. Yep. Okay. First one is clarification of Article 7, Section 4 on quorum requirements. Now, we have quorum requirements specified in various places in the bylaws. We don't need to do that. We have one place in the bylaws where we define quorums, and that's in Article 7, Section 4, committee quorums. So what I want to do, what the committee would like to do, is pull up into this section 4, the other two places where quorums are described, so they're only described in one place in the bylaws, and then take them out of the other two places that they are currently there, so there's no ambiguity or confusion about that. So the committee recommends that we add, after the word Candidate Resource Committee, comma, the Legislative Priority Committee, I think that might be priorities, I'm not sure, and the Election Integrity Committee, just put them there and take out the quorum thing from their committee descriptions. The second clarification, I'm just going to do them all at once. Maybe wants to come back and talk about individual ones, which you probably won't. Second one is also the current language from Article 9, Section 4 on staff neutrality. Now, staff, I think we only have, Jen can correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's only 3 or 4 staff members right now, but we're thinking as we gear up to a bigger election cycle, we may be adding staff members if we have more money. So we want to make it clear to the staff members what they can and can't do as far as political advocacy when they become staff members. Obviously, civil rights lawyer, really concerned about First Amendment rights, but when you take a job, sometimes you give up some of those rights to hold that job. If they're the staff in the RPT, they give up certain of their rights to do campaigning for various parties. It currently reads, staff members must remain neutral in intra-party contests for both public and party offices. That's vague, so we don't know what that means. So we want the committee recommends that we clarify that to say staff members must remain neutral in intra-party contests for both public and small p party offices, which includes offices at the state and county party levels. So in other words, it's adding more definition so it's clear, you know, county parties are not RPT officials, but you can't be involved in intra-party advocacy for those either. Number 3, clarification again, it's all clarification. Article 7, Section 8C on membership. The committees have duties of standing committees, right? And the number C says the Candidate Resource Committee is being defined as what it is supposed to do. The chairman appoints 12 members and 6 others subject to confirmation by the SREC. So the Candidate Resource Committee has 18 people on it. Then the chairman may appoint up to 4 additional, now it says members, also subject to confirmation. Committee recommends we change members in that instance to persons who may be members or non-members. And the reason for that is Candidate Resource Committee has used people who are not members of this body to be on it. There's already 12, there'll be 16. It's not like they're going to water it down or anything, but that gives the chairman more flexibility to appoint people to the Candidate Resource Committee. And then in 4 and 5 are really just Virgil clauses. They're just, you know, hey, you call me out all the time. Remove the hyphen from vice chairman, add hyphens to sergeant at arms. That was my mistake not having that in there. Probably both of them were. And then capitalize all instances of the name of the word platform when it's referring to the RPT platform. And then there's a little parenthetical there. We took no action on the item of who gets to vote in these meetings. We're going to come back to that later, so we just didn't address it this time. It's a little more complicated. And finally, amendment to the SRE standing rules. This was recommended to us by the Standing Rules Committee, the local candidate committee, that we do this. As you all know, if a nonpartisan candidate, school board, city council, goes to their CEC, gets endorsed by their CEC, then they can apply to the state, and our committee vets them and determines whether they should be brought to this body for state endorsement, state party endorsement, okay? Well, there's nothing in there about what happens in a runoff election, so it's ambiguous. So the CRC wants us to have in there, or the Candidate Research Committee wants us to add in that language at the end, which says that unless the original RPT endorsement says otherwise, and this body doesn't pull the endorsement between the general election and the primary, that endorsement carries through to the primary. That makes sense because going to be pretty slim times when they're going to pull somebody out. We called it the scandal clause. If there's somebody might do something weird between the general and the runoff, and then we would have to meet an emergency meeting to pull that endorsement out. Otherwise, it just goes through. So that's the report of the Rules Committee, Mr. Chairman, and I urge adoption. That was not a gavel.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate your report.
Mr. Chairman, Brandon Hodges, SD 31, just point of information.
Yes, sir.
Could you ask the chairman of the Rules Committee? I thought I heard you say something about school board candidates and nonpartisan races. I thought it had to be like county level. There had to be a primary. So school board or what have you wouldn't be in that, correct?
No, we're talking about the CRC's.
I just heard nonpartisan school board races. So just clarify. And I was text messaging my wife. So. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. It is moved that adoption of the amendment to the SREC bylaws concerning consistency in the quorum requirements for the committees. We're going to just do all of them in one, unless there is any objection to that. Seeing none, all in favor of adoption of the amendments to the SREC bylaws concerning the resolution submissions to the resolutions committee? Yes. Press 1A if you approve the amendments. 2B if you are opposing. Hold on. Micah, we need you to be the target for clickers. Political directors with the clicker experience is required. Hold on, we're not there yet. Press 1A if you support the amendments, 2B if you're opposing it, 3C if you're abstaining from it. Jeremy Story, Ralph Fight. Can you click again? Pointed at Virgil. Susan Fountain, are you still here? All right, click. Pointed at me. There you go. Rachel Horton, are you here? Do it again. 64. The voting will close in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the results are 64 to 0 to 0. The report is adopted. Thank you. That's a 10-minute rules report. I don't think we'll ever get that again. Thank you, Jim. We're on 27. Canada Resource Committee. If you can come up and do your report. Before we get to the report itself, Walter West and Susan Valiant have both resigned from the committee. So I am naming Brenda Estes to serve as the 12th member of the Canada Resource Committee. We have changed the rules to do that. Are there any discussion on that? All in favor of accepting the changes, please say aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. I call upon Becky Green. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The hardworking members of the Candidate Resource Committee have been very busy raising and spending money, getting down ballot and district-wide Republicans elected. If you serve on the Candidate Resource Committee, will you please stand up and be recognized? There we go. These fine people met on September 14th for a marathon spending session in Marble Falls at the home of our vice chair, Mary Jane Avery, who was a very gracious host. I don't really want to talk too much about that because the whole SREC is going to want to meet at her house if you all find out how great it was. But we then met again via Zoom on October 1st, and we spent some more money. Our secretary, Virgil Cruz, is going to give a report on what we did and how successful we were in just a moment. But right now, And Tony Trevino, if you will come up here and assist me. Tony Trevino is a member of our committee, and she is our key pin coordinator. Y'all, 21 of you earned your key pin just since the end of convention on May 25th, 2024, and we want you to come up here and receive your key pin. Now, I do want to clarify this. This key pin session, that this is just for this current session that we're in, this current year. That extends from May 25th, 2024 to June 1st, 2025. Several of you, and also some past SREC members, earned your key pin during the last calendar year. We are not addressing that today. That will be $1 yearly goal. It's probably because of reporting, and it was probably counted for last year. If you do not receive your key pin today, you still have till June 1st to reach your $1,000 spending goal for each and every SREC. So a reminder that every SREC member is expected to raise $1,000 per year for our Candidate Resource Committee. This is our fund, SREC, and we do good work with this. And so I want to recognize these folks. They have a check mark by their name on the screen, and we're gonna call them up here. So please come up, and Tony will give you your key pin. So we have from SD9, Ann Gephardt, Dan Tully, SD10, Susan Valiant, and Matt Tiskus. SD11, Galen Devine and Ken Moore. SD12, Lisa Hendrickson. SD17, Becky Green and Roman Klein. SD18, Cheryl Thompson Draper and Saki Joseph. And if you all will come up here and stand, we're going to see if we can get the photographer to take a picture. Sorry, I should have told you guys that before you went to sit back down. Thank you, Galen. Thank you. Okay. SD21, Tony Trevino and Randy Perham. SD23, Elaine Cook and Ed Zinner. SD24, Mary Jane Avery and Andy Eller. SD28, Jane Cancino and Steve Evans. SD29, Robin Cooper and Adolfo Tejas. Okay, these folks deserve a round of applause, y'all. They worked hard. They raised a lot of money. You too can be among the ranks of the key pin recipients. You have to squeeze in, everybody. Might need to make 2 rows. Short people in front and tall people in the back, maybe. Are you good? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next up, we are going to have Virgil Cruz come give a little short presentation on our successes. It was impressive what we were able to accomplish. Had we had more money, we would probably have done more good. So I just want to encourage you guys, this is important work we're doing on Candidate Resource Committee. And then immediately after Virgil's talk, we have a very fast auction because there's some delicious pie down here in my bag and somebody needs to buy it to support Candidate Resource Committee. Steve Evans is going to come up and auction those off, plus a couple of other items. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Virgil for a report.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you to everyone in this room who worked hard to raise money for the CRC. Everyone who did that, you're part of this victory. You share in these victories that these candidates made. We flipped so many seats in down ballot candidates, and you know that success is a part of everybody who gave money to the CRC and everybody who worked hard to raise it. So thank you guys so much, and thank you to my colleagues on the CRC. So let's talk results. Next slide. We had applicants from 29 of our 31 SDs. We made contributions to 29 SDs. and our contributions totaled 157,000. We had 42 of our candidates of those 72 win, so more than 50%. This is the first time in several election cycles that we break 50% because we've taken chances and our chances paid off this time. So we've got some victories that we're celebrating. You notice we spent $96,000 on our winners. We took some risks. We had some losses. Some of them were very close. We had 30 candidates who did not win, but notably 20 of our candidates flipped a Democrat seat to a Republican. That's amazing. And you can see that we had candidates running for all of these offices. You note that 10 of those winning candidates were running for Court of Appeals. So let's see the next slide. Here are our winners. If you know any of these, clap for these folks. Look at these flips. We had flips in Court of Appeals, District Judge, County Commissioner, and Jane, that's... We have wiped out Democrat elected officials in Lubbock County thanks to you. Next slide. Let's get, oh, sorry, I was looking at my own screen. Got some constable flips, tax assessor flip, county commissioner. You notice these are big counties, small counties, medium-sized counties. We've got another Court of Appeals candidate there at the bottom. Third slide. More winners, more courts of appeals. Williamson County Sheriff that we talked about earlier, great victory there. Nathan Milliron, Harris County won 50.01% of the vote, my friends. Next page. More courts of appeals. Midland County Commissioner, anyone want to say something about that? We took a risk there, didn't we, Jane? Anyone? So those are our winners. Those are, I think, 42 winners, right? Next page. We gave money in 5. You see 4 different colors there, but the green is actually the first and the 14th Court of Appeals concurrently. We gave $29,000 of the money that we raised from our grassroots around the state to those candidates in 11 courts of appeals. We won 10 of the 11. Thank you very much. Flip to the Republicans. You know that all of those courts flip to partisan control of Republicans. We've said that a few times today. An amazing victory that we all share. Next page. Next slide, please. Jordan. And these are the counties where we had applicants that we gave money to. So you can see that we're north, south, east, and west, border counties, urban counties, suburban counties, rural counties. And we had winners in so many of these places. So the counties that are white, they didn't have applicants for the most part. So when we get applicants that are qualified, we give them money. That's what we do. Next page. Some of our heartbreaking close misses. There are some in Harris County that were so close. Fort Bend County Sheriff, Valverde County, couple district judges, district Court of Appeals, the one that we missed, 49%, all in that range. We also had some amazing victories that were on the slim side of the margin. These were all of our races between 49 and 52%, I believe. So you win some, you lose some, worth the battle. Next page. I want everybody in here to realize that when we gave money, without getting into too many details, we were very efficient at targeting races that were competitive. And of that $157,000 that we gave, 90,000 of that ended up in races where the Republican won or lost between 45 and 55%. I think that's amazing targeting. That speaks to the efforts that we made to make sure that we gave money efficiently because we care about being good stewards of our donors' money. And going a little wider from 40 to 60%, 122,000 of our contributions were in that range. 11 candidates, as you saw, won or lost by less than 1%. So we always keep fighting. We're always going to go for those races where we can flip seats. And this time, my friends, we did flip seats. We made a difference. So thank you again to everyone who raised money in their SDs, everybody who contributed to the Candidate Resource Committee. We don't stop now. We're getting ready for 2026. We want to build a war chest so that we can make more flips all around the state. north to south, east to west, urban, suburban, rural. Thank you very much for all your support.
Thank you, Virgil. I just want to tell you guys that Mary Jane Avery, who's our vice chair, and Virgil Cruz do the lion's share of work around here. And their contribution to this body and to this committee cannot be overstated. So I'm going to give them another round of applause for going above and beyond. Does everybody know that the whole Republican Party would fall apart if it weren't for Virgil Cruz? Okay, just making sure. Some of the newbies might not realize I would just have to quit and crawl back in my hole if Virgil left. So anyway, right now we are going to auction off. We have a couple of lovely pies. I'm going to turn this over. Yes, Janera. Yes. Yes. Yes, it does. It does. Okay. So we are going to raise some more money because we spent it all, y'all. And that's exactly what we meant to do. And we're glad we spent it all, y'all. And we need some more. So there is pie in your future. And I'm going to turn this over to Steve Evans, who's got this and a couple other items to auction off.
All right, folks. This live, can you hear me? All right. Who knows about the Blue Bonnet Cafe in Marble Falls, Texas? Growing up, I had these pies from the Blue Bonnet. This is a fudge pie from the Blue Bonnet Cafe, Marble Falls, Texas. All of you out there in the peanut gallery, you can bid too. Don't be shy. This money goes to a good cause. We'll start the bidding at $25. Do I have $25? I got 25 over here, now 50. 25, now 50. Who's got $50? Who's got $50? $50 back here to my... $100. Who has 150? $100 now 150. $100 now 150. Got 150 with Janera. Now 200, Matt. 200 to you, 150, $300, $300 now, 350 now for $1,000. Woo! Lisa, are you going to let her beat you for this pie? I got $1,000. Anybody want to go $1,000? I don't think we're going to get it. 1,000 going once, 1,000 going twice, all in, all through, all done. Sold it, $1,000. Thank you, Janera.
Give that lady a key pin.
She brought a check up, too. That's how you do it, folks. All right, we got another pie. What's this one? A pecan pie. Is this from the Blue Bonnet Cafe, too? All right, a pecan pie from the Blue Bonnet Cafe. Pecan pie. Let's start the bidding at $50. Pecan pie, Blue Bonnet Cafe. $50, Bruce Bishop. Now $75. $300, now $350. $300, now $350 for a pecan pie. $300, now $350. $350 going once. $300, now $350 going twice. Sold it, $300. All right, folks, out of my personal collection, I had several of these made. This is a 30-ounce tumbler. It's got the Donald Trump fight scene laser engraved right on the side of it. You're not going to see these anymore. Nobody's making them now. Hush, Galen. All right, we're going to sell the cup. Who'll hit $100 on the cup? Who's got $100? $100 in the back. Now I got 100 back there. Now 150 to you. 150. Now 200. Now 250. 200, now 250, $200, now 250, 250, now 300. Where are you at? $500, now 550, $500, now 550, 500, now 550 going once, 500, now 550 going twice. Sold it, $500. Thank you. All right, folks, if you, who all went to the RNC? So the hotel that you stayed in had some really cool items made that nobody bought. They had some balloon, not elephant, piggy banks. And so Ed Hauser, a friend of the party, hangs around. He bought a bunch of these. So I bought one of them off of him last night to put in the auction. This is a balloon knot piggy bank. I don't know if we can get any more made. Vanna White's going to carry it around. Balloon knot piggy bank. We're going to sell it. $100. We got $100 on it, now $150. $100 now $150. My goodness, come on, folks. $100 now $150. $150. $150 now $200. $200 now to have $250. $200 now $250. $200 now $250. This better bring $500. Come on, folks. $200 now $250. $200. Come on, one more time. Somebody try it out at $250. Anyone? $200 going once. Do I have 250? 250, not 300. Don't let her beat you. Come on. 250, not 300. I have 250, not 300. 250 going once. 250 going twice. Sold it to Susan for $250. That was easy enough, wasn't it? Thank you, folks.
Auction winners, I have an envelope for you to fill out with your payment, and I'll get that to you momentarily. Mr. Chairman, this concludes the CRC report. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky, and the CRC team. Give them a round of applause because this was a lot of work. Really, really appreciate you guys taking on this huge task during the election cycle. Thank you so much. We are moving on to legislative priorities. Before we get there, I have a small change to make. Are you back in business? All right. So legislative priorities currently chaired by Rachel Horton, and this is different. Hold on a second. It's not that one. Sorry, I messed up my details here. So we have two co-chairs on legislative priorities. That is Leslie Thomas and Rachel Horton. And I have asked Jerry Fisher to be the co-chair with Leslie Thomas. And Rachel Horton will serve as the vice chair. Rachel will be working for one of our legislators, one of our star legislators. So just to make sure we don't have any conflict during the session, we will have Leslie and Jerry work together, and Rachel will help them and get this moving. So I'm inviting all three of them now. Come on up, I guess. Oh,
what's this? Oh, here we go.
let me confirm this. Also appointing Andy Eller to the legislative priorities committees. Is there any discussion on this? All right, all in favor of accepting this change, please say aye. All opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Now I call upon the Legislative Priority Committee to provide their report.
Oh my. Okay. Well, thank you. First of all, I want to say it has been an absolute pleasure working with all of you on this. Legislative priorities is something that's always been very near and dear to my heart, just because that was the reason that I even ran for SREC. I said, hey, why are our elected officials not following what we say in the platform or in our priorities? And so that was my first question as, a young Republican in 2018. And so that was something that, was very important to me. So when I ran, I had Jill's legislative priorities reports to kind of look forward to from the floor. And so that was always something that I really enjoyed participating with. So we're not going to take too much of your time, but this is something that's, very excited to do. So I do want to give a quick report though. In the time that I have served as your co-chair, and Leslie Thomas and I have done this, oh gosh, she's just been an incredible resource. So let's see here. Are we getting close? I literally just dumped my laptop with Jordan here because she's amazing and said, hey, please, can you put this on the screen? But we do have a couple of quick items to get through in our business report. Let's see here. I think what I want to do first is let Leslie and Jerry talk about town halls while we get this up and running. Is that all right? Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, as y'all know, that the key to success for Jill was that she went all over the state and educated the grassroots. So from January to March, she was not down in Austin, she was all over Texas. And many of y'all participated in those town halls. Well, Jerry and I want to bring it back to Texas, bring back the town halls. So please reach out to me for clubs or CECs so we can do town halls in your area. It's not, we're not going to get in the weeds. It's more of a cheerleading type thing, and then for y'all to build on. So, and some of y'all have heard this, but I'll say it again. So in the Navy, everyone's a firefighter because when you're on the ship, there's nowhere to go. So we learn about firefighting. So y'all know the firefighting triangle, right? Heat, oxygen, and fuel. You take out any one of those and the fire goes out. Well, in 1907, the grassroots were incredibly strong, and they didn't call it grassroots, they called it citizens. And the Ivy League elites studied on how to weaken the grassroots. And they found out that it's 3 legs. You take out any one of these and it fails. You cannot have a effective grassroots. And those 3 legs are education, communication, and organization. Oh, and action. Oh, one of them, it's 3 legs, not 4. So anyway, so what we're going to do with the town hall is education. And then we're going to encourage you to do organization, and we'll do the organization too at the top part. And then that's so that you can go down to Austin or call your representatives, and that's the action. So that's what we're going to be doing from January to March. So please reach out to me. I have already committed to go to Amarillo. I will go to El Paso. I will go anywhere y'all want to, because Jill Glover went everywhere she was asked to go, whether there were 3 people there or 300. And we're going to carry that forth. The next thing is that if you want to be on one of the subcommittees of the legislative priorities, look at them. And if you want to be on that committee, SREC, let me know. We could use you. So if anything rings your bell and you want to be part of our group, we'd love to have you. Ditto.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, we are back in business. So yesterday we met for about a good hour and a half as a Legislative Priorities Committee. Let's go ahead. So this is kind of the old list of what we have. There's still a few folks on there who, okay, here we go. Yes. So as you know, we have the 8 priorities. We have, can you guys just stand? If you're a member of the Legislative Priorities Committee, whether or not you're a chair or anything like that, if you're a member of the committee, please stand. Stand, stand, stand. Thank you. Awesome. Yes. Y'all, please look around the room. These people are amazing. They are incredible warriors for the topics that we are fighting for. And some of them are first-time members. We're excited to have them. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the goal and vision for the committee as a whole. We are excited to be educating, engaging, and empowering Texas Republicans with clearly defined action items on those 8 priorities. And that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish here. Let's go ahead and go to that next slide. The picture here, or hold on, go back. I think this is such a cool full circle moment, because this picture back here is the one from the Capitol in January of 2023. That was January of 2023. That was the first major bus trip. We had 1,000 people at the Capitol. Everybody was decked out in those red band Democrat chair shirts. And we had 5 House Republicans come out and tell us why the House rules mandated that they could, appoint Democrat chairs if they wanted to. So that was the fire that kind of started us on this whole journey of making sure that our grassroots are engaged and informed, that our House Republicans are engaged and informed, and our Senate Republicans are engaged and informed as well. And if you go to the next slide here, these little photos were posted just this morning. The gentleman on the left is David Lowe. He's a brand new freshman House rep, and we are so excited to have him. But he sported a Band Democrat Chairs shirt this morning in the House. And I'm sure many of you know the gentleman on the right, Brian Harrison, who is also a House rep. We're just so excited to see House reps rocking these shirts, even if it is just for clicks. It's really exciting to see this. So I want you to know that your pushes and your priorities make a difference. Anyway, so that's the whole point with that. I do want to launch into, we can leave those up or we can go back to the original slide. We have several individuals who need to be recognized and nominated for particular committees. So subcommittee nominees or folks who are participating in these subcommittees. For No Democrat chairs, we have Tom Glass, we have Brandon Burden, we have Clark Denson, Barbara Isaacs, and then SREC members, we have Dale Inman, Susan Lucas, Christiana Keeler, and that's No Democrat chairs. The subcommittee chairman of that particular priority, as you all know, is Deborah Fite. The Border Enforcement Committee, or subcommittee, met yesterday, but we have Kelly Perry, she is a SREC member, George Rodriguez, Jace Yarbrough, and Adolfo Teles. He is an SREC member. I have election integrity with it's secure elections with Leslie Thomas. We have, let's see here, Leslie Thomas, Lisa Hendrickson. I have Brenda Estes, Susan Lucas. If this is not correct, somebody yell at me. Oh, okay, so that subcommittee nominee list is not accurate. Sorry. Trying to pull that together at the last minute. But no, that's not quite accurate. It might be for the first couple of slides, but it's not for the rest. Andy Eller is also recently nominated to that committee as well. Hey, Leslie, did we decide for the election integrity or secure elections? Yes, secure elections is Leslie Thomas and Andy Eller. Let's see here. And then I have in federal overreach with John Carr. And his committee members are Tom Glass, Terry Hall. We have SREC member Kiko Canseco. I have and for the medical freedom portion, we have Rebecca Hardy and Kathy Ponce. And Becky Green, SREC member, and Robin Armstrong, committee man. Texas is not for sale. The subcommittee chair is Deborah Fite, but let's see here. Our members are Galen Devine, Kristen Bentley, and let's see here. And then I have Jamie Haynes, Andrew McVeigh, John Perez, and Shelley Barano. I have banned taxpayer-funded lobbying. The subcommittee chair is Janira Lewis. The members are Scott Bowen, Jeremy Story, Kathy Ponce, and SREC committee member Rhonda Ward. Oh, is Matt Tiskus? Is Matt Tiskus in the building? Okay, I'm getting word that Matt Tiskus is also on this committee. Where's Janira? Perfect. Okay. Stop Sexualizing Texas Kids is our final committee. This one is extensive. Kristen Bentley is our chairwoman for that one. She's been leading that one for the last, little bit now, and she is an expert at it. But I have Debbie Simmons, Tara Pesch, Diana Richards, Jennifer Fleck, Jamie Haynes, Monica Klein, Bonnie Wallace, Dee Chambliss, Rachel Hale, Tom Nobis, Eileen Blakowski, Chris Bird, Shannon Ayers, Kelly Neidert, Cindy Castilla, Teresa Thomas, Laura Giles, Francine Erickson, Kay Burton, Denise Ballou, and Denise Bell. Y'all, that concludes the committee nominees. Yes, ma'am. Did I do the electric grid? With Dr. Melinda Morris, the electric grid is Christiana Keeler, Greg Murphy, Don Brown, and Shannon Johnson, right? Oh, okay. So those are the wrong nominees. Go back to the original slide, please. The very first one. There we go. That's perfect. That works. Thank you. Sorry, the slide was not right. Okay.
Ask you for it.
Yes, and if you need the actual list, please ask me. I will. It's going over to. I know. I'm so sorry. It's going over to Leslie Thomas, but we will absolutely get that straightened out. We have them written out. So, okay. And I believe with that we have. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's information is what it is. The only other thing that I want to encourage you guys to do is make sure that you're reaching out, that you are informing your local GOPs, your grassroots committees. If you guys are putting out information like this, please let me know. This is awesome. I believe Mary Jane Avery put out an SD24's Patriot Guide to Legislative Engagement. Fantastic piece of information. I know that Denton County Conservative Coalition campaigned door to door with things like this, the Legislative Party of Texas. Why vote Republican? So y'all, there's fantastic efforts that are underway and we've already started and all of these things. So I'm very encouraged to see all of the engagement with legislative priorities. And I'm so excited to turn this over to Jerry and Leslie. And with that, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Rachel. And the Legislative Priorities Committee, they have been working since the last 3-4 months, and they've done an amazing job. Most of you probably know what's happening at the Texas House now. If not, one of our candidates, Dustin Burrows, and many of them have walked out trying to cut the quorum, but we are going to have a resolution. Is that about right, Scott? We're going to have a resolution condemning that if they violate the caucus rules and goes against our party platform and choose a Democrat or work with the Democrats to build a coalition to put a speaker against what our party is asking them to do, we will condemn them. And I can promise you, we will work hard to primary every one of them.
So, Mr. Chairman, right now I'm drafting 2 alternative resolutions depending on what happens. If the caucus goes ahead and has their vote before we adjourn, I'll have a resolution ready to support the candidate they vote for. If the caucus doesn't vote due to walkouts, then I'll have a resolution ready condemning the members who are walking out, and we may have a list of those members by the time we vote as well. So let's keep going through our meeting until we get to new business, and the last thing we'll do is pass a resolution based on what has happened up to that point.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Scott. That concludes the, well, that doesn't have anything to do with the legislative priorities. That concludes the legislative priorities report. Thank you, Rachel and the group. Appreciate you guys. Next committee is election integrity. And we have a little bit of a change on that as well. Lisa, would you come up? And Andy, we're going to make a switch about the same as well. Please come up and have the conversation. And I'm going to have to make a motion to get that confirmed.
Most of you know that I will be Mitch Little's chief of staff as of January 14th. Well, thank you. That's an honor, beyond honor. Rachel, of course, will be legislative director, policy director as well. So that being said, it became apparent this week when I was going back and forth to the Capitol that, with all honesty, I cannot give election integrity 100%. And if I was trying to do something for election integrity and Mitch needed something, election integrity would have to wait. So I had a lovely conversation with Andy and said, would you do it? So, of course, he is game on. He's already done an amazing job last time. And he and Ken and as the rest of the committee have jumped in all feet. So I will serve as his vice chair and then come alongside every single one of our members to make sure that we can get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We are going to, so I'm going to appoint Andy Eller as the chair and Lisa will be the vice chair. Are there any discussion on this? All in favor of accepting the nomination, say aye. All opposed, say no. And the ayes have it. Congratulations, Andy. And I call upon Andy to present the Election Integrity Committee report.
Thank you. And thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate I know there's a lot to this job, and I appreciate your confidence in me and asking me to step up, and you too, Chairman George. Just some brief information. We didn't get a chance in our committee yesterday to go through some of the business I wanted to get to, but we are going to, probably January the 4th, we're going to start meeting on Saturdays at 8 a.m. via Zoom, like we did last session, to go through legislation that pertains to election integrity. I've asked Jen Hall to go ahead and put out the notice starting for the first Saturday in January, January 4th at 8 a.m. for a Zoom meeting to go ahead and start going through the legislation. There's been approximately 163 bills filed on election integrity so far, pre-filed, I should say. And there are some that we would like to get to. There's probably about a dozen of them that are great. There's also about a half a dozen of them that will go to the legislative priorities. And so I'm going to be, because I'm on both now, and that's the reason why I wound up on both, the legislative priorities and the Election Integrity Committee will work hand in hand to go through the bills, decide which ones belong to those narrow four corners of the Election Priorities Committee, and then the others will look at in the Election Integrity. We're going to stick really heavily to the platform and, only look at bills that pretty much pertain to the platform or that we desire, that we want to advocate for in the platform, and those that we want to kill. And I will tell you, there's been at least 5 ranked choice voting or preferential bills filed. We've already looked at those, said those are bad. We want to kill those and want to make sure those do not move on. And there's been several other really great bills, especially with the planks. And the resolution we passed earlier today speaks to those planks that are being addressed by the legislators, and I really appreciate them doing that. So that's going to start on January 4th, and then probably starting about the 2nd or 3rd week of February, we will start meeting weekly. That we don't necessarily need to meet until the committees get assigned. And once the committees get assigned, the bills start going into those committees. We'll start meeting weekly, not just the 4th, but we'll start meeting weekly to go through those bills that are before the committees, for instance, the House Elections Integrity, or the House Elections Committee and the Senate State Affairs Committee. And if they happen to get assigned to another committee, we'll go through those, and we'll wind up showing advocacy for those and for both election integrity and the LP. So at this point, that's all I have. And Mr. Chairman, that's my report on the Election Integrity Committee.
Thank you, Andy. Then we'll have special committee reports. Next one is Volunteer Committee, and I call upon Gwen Withdraw to present the Volunteer Committee report. Next is Local Government and Platform and Candidate Development.
Okay, folks, wake up. I know you're starting to go to sleep. Gwen Withrow, Senate District 4. I am on a new committee, the chair of, which is called Volunteers. Some of you are probably wondering, what is that committee going to do? Which is what I wondered for about 4 months now. So we found out that this committee is going to plan a banquet for the Volunteer of the Year for each and every Senate District volunteer. So that's going to be a lot of work, guys. So if my committee would stand, I would like to recognize them for all the hard work that they're going to do. Where did they go? There's none of them standing. Oh, I got one standing. Roland, you're on the committee. Stand up. Where else? Oh, well, anyway, they all left. So they don't know how much work they have to do. But anyway, so some of you are new. Some of you are new, and you don't know what you're supposed to do. As the SREC for each Senate district, in the very near future, you will be asked to collaborate with each other and pick this one person from your Senate district that's going to get recognized. So be starting to think about who is going to be this volunteer. So you've got to think about in your entire Senate district who has volunteered and really worked hard and deserves this honor. So this banquet is going to be in the fall. We're looking at December, next December possibly. It'll be at the SREC meeting, or that's our plan. So on Friday night of the SREC meeting, we will all go to this banquet and we will be honoring our designee from each Senate district. These are going to be sponsored by your senators, your House members, your governor. He's sitting back there. I saw him waving, and people like that. So we're not going to take funds from the SREC. We're going to try to raise this money ourselves. So that gives you an idea of what this committee is going to be working on. And like I said, Susan, you did not stand up. Anyway, this is going to be a lot of work. And Cheryl, you didn't stand up. So I'm calling them out. But anyway, this is going to be a lot of work, but we're going to get it done. And it's going to be wonderful. And we're going to show these volunteers how much we appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen. The next report is from Platform Committee. Matt, are you here? Okay, you're not Matt, but come on up.
Get close. First of all, could I get all my awesome local government committee members to stand up? Yeah. We have Tisha Crow, Vice Chairman, Bruce Bishop, Rolando Garcia, Dale Inman, Janeria Lewis, Kelly Perry, Jeremy Story, Michael Wheeler, and David Wiley. Thank all you committee members. Do you have, the staff, do you have the slide of our local government scorecard? I'd like you to know we endorsed in 20 races and we won in 13. So we're batting .650. And we need to give thanks to Nueces County, to Harris County, to Montgomery County that gave us some of these wins. And so I'd like to start and give some commentary in these. Unfortunately, Sandy Sassano, who ran for Eagle Pass ISD Trustee 2, was not successful, but I know they were talking about in the election integrity report their issues, their voting there, but she told me one Republican candidate, one who kind of flew under the radar from all the Democrats, and so they did pick up one victory in that area. South Texas, of course, Nueces County, they just really hit the ball out of the park. I put in there their votes for President, Vice President, U.S. Senator, the state senator we picked up, and the state representative. We, of course, picked up Adam Hinojosa as state senator. Yeah. And we picked up Denise Villalobos as the state rep in District 34. And you can see there they voted 55.23% for President Trump, 51.5% for Senator Cruz, 63.12%, and there are other counties involved in the state senator race, but that was the Nueces County, and then 55.37% in the state rep race. So way to go, Nueces County. They got Michael Hunter is in a runoff for the mayor position there, and he was the second highest vote getter in a field of 6, and he got 47.65%. Carolyn Vaughn was elected in the city council at large, and she was the highest vote getter in a field of 10. Unfortunately, Larry Elizondo and Javid Montgavi and Alberto Carrillo did not make it, but Kaylin Paxson is also in a runoff. So thank you for approving that small rule change that kind of clarifies these folks that got in runoff still carry forward with our RPT endorsement. And so that was part of the reason for that. It's really interesting to see that in that SD 27 race, Morgan LaMantia spent $56.88 per vote, and Adam Hinojosa spent $20.65 per vote. So that LaMantia family had $10 million total in their campaign, and they were going to be one of 5 families awarded a casino if casino gambling was ever legalized in Texas. So it's good that that Senate pickup is huge. Going down into Harris County, we won 3 out of 4 races there. Mark Ramsey, who was one of my predecessors on SREC, he won with 76% of the vote in the North Harris County Regional Water Authority. We have a winner for Harris County Emergency Service District, Jamie Martinez, top vote getter of 4. And of course, we are unfortunately showing that in Harris County, we came in with 46.4% for President Trump and 43% for Ted Cruz. So thank you for Montgomery and the county and others that made up for that. But, you know, as we pointed out earlier, we did win 9 Harris County judicial races, so we are making progress in moving Harris County back. Also, we picked up another seat down at the bottom, Jennifer Kratke in the Tomball ISD Board of Trustees, position 6, where more of that was in Harris County than Montgomery County. Now, Montgomery County, the real star, and these 2 guys take a lot of credit. As you can see, they voted for President Trump 72.24%, 221,964 votes, and for Ted Cruz, 214,000 votes, 69.75%. So they're really important components in Trump and Cruz's victory in the state. And I kind of put those as benchmarks that you could compare how our other candidates did that we endorsed. Now, in some of them, they had multiple candidates in the race, so if they showed like 46%, that meant they were the top vote getter in that particular race. But you know, Dale may have to do some concessions to his wife because she won with 77.23% of the vote for Montgomery County Hospital District Precinct 1. Yeah. Yeah. So also Bob Bagley was also elected in the Montgomery County Hospital District at large, position 3. We had 4 outstanding women with kids, some of them with, most of them, I think, with kids in the Conroe ISD that I had the pleasure to get to meet, and they were just outstanding candidates. So we have really moved the Conroe ISD with 4 new positions in a conservative direction. Also, Craig Eisler won in the Woodlands Township Board of Directors, position 4, and I believe that's it. But we're really proud of the results here. We're very proud that the party spent $3.1 million in support of down ballot candidates. That really helped a lot. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate you. That concludes the local government platform. Matt Patrick is our chairman for the Platform Advocacy Committee, and their report. Your left hand.
Thank you. So some of you may not have been that aware of Platform Advocacy Committee before. I think we've cured that. So we have 3 goals for our committee. One is to advocate for the 10 planks that we picked out. The second is the promotion of not only those 10, but the rest of the platform. And we're also going to, once the session is over, promote the convention and the committees and that sort of thing. And we're going to do that by creating videos, promotional videos. And we're intending to make that part of the, where'd he go? He left. The RPT University program that the chairman's launching. And we'll end up putting those up on the website and on the YouTube channel, and including those things with the email to the county chairs that Jen sends out. So we're working on those, and we have, for our top 10 list, we have 1 or 2 committee members devoted to each of those, and those committee members will also be making the videos for that subject matter. So we're working on putting that together and creating our scripts for those things and looking for how we produce those. Jordan has talked to me a little bit about helping out with that. She didn't mention earlier, it wasn't mentioned earlier, we now have a TikTok channel, thanks to Jordan. So we can get things out, and we have a production room with a green screen at RPT, so we may utilize that. We may utilize outside vendors. So that's the second thing that we're working on, and we'll be hopefully producing some of those here in the next quarter. The final thing that we have as our goal is, we changed the rules at convention last time to streamline and improve the process for submitting resolutions from precinct chairs and county and SD conventions up to the state convention. So we are working on creating a mandatory online system and a database that will do that. Karen Marshall is not an official member of my committee, but she is helping me with that. And Karen and I worked with Matt Dorsey, and he has already put together, we've adopted or adapted perhaps the resolution builder that we used last convention. And we've added, Matt was able to add an AI feature to that. So when you go in and if no matter what level you're at, you start typing in what your proposed resolution is going to be, we'll be able to automatically search the existing platform, and it will pop up and show you which planks have that subject matter in them. And so the more data you put in, the more it'll refine it. If you put in just like 1 or 2 words, it might give you 30 or 40 planks, but as you type in a little more, it'll refine that down to give you a specific plank or 2. So we hope that will reduce the number of resolutions that are submitted to us that are duplicative, and therefore streamline the entire process and save a lot of time for us at convention. We're working on finding someone else. Matt can't finish the rest of it. He's a busy guy. He's got grad school and work. So we're working on finding someone else to work on the next part of that, with the goal of having it finished probably by September or December in 25, so that we can proof it up and then make promotional videos on that so that we can educate all of the delegates and the county and SD chairs in advance of the primary. So that's what we're working on, and we're on track, but there's a lot of technical stuff we have to get done, but we're in good shape and working on those things. If you have any questions about that, let me know. One of the things that we also talked about that I just want to touch on real quick, I always think of RPT in terms of how are we adding value to the CECs or to the elected officials. And one of the things that we were talking about is doing quick promotional videos on individual bills that pertain to our top 10 as we're going through the session. So we may work on giving an opportunity to some of our elected officials that are promoting, for example, our legislative priorities or our top 10 list, do a quick video and push that out through the RPT YouTube channel. It'll be a way for us to add value to the legislators, and they can look more favorably on RPT. So that's an idea that we're thinking about. Obviously, I have to talk to the chairman about that, but that's something else that we can do to help everyone. So that's our report, and thank you very much for your support today. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions about what we're doing, always let us know. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it. Next one is Ed Zenner. Did he leave? Oh, he's here. Look I can't find him. Ed will give us our candidate development report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a great group of people on my committee: Bruce Bishop, Ann Geppert, Walter West, Lucy Trainer, Brandon Hodges, Jane Casino, Dale Gibble, Patrick Warnhoff, and Jerry Fisher. Except her husband seemed to be in there for her this time. But candidate development, we need to be going out and finding people like us. The week of the election, the last few days of that week, I went to a Cindy Jacobs conference, and I'm sitting in the back on the Saturday, full day, encouraging anybody in the conference that needed encouragement. And there were about 12 groups of us. And I had this Hispanic woman come and sit down in front of us, and she tells us she's from the Valley. And I'm like, we just had a county down there that voted Republican for the first time in 130 something years. And she said, yes, that's where I'm from. And, I'm talking with her, and I'm like, have you thought about running for office, school board, city council, state rep? State rep seems to be where her eyes lit up. And then she tells me about a week before she came to Dallas, she had a friend give her a gift. And her friend said, I just felt like I had to give this to you, and I don't understand it. And she opens it up, and it's a little gavel on a block of wood. And then the day before she came to Dallas, she had another friend call her and said, I bought this gift for you that I felt like I have to give it to you. I need to come over and give it to you. And she did. And it was a full-size gavel on a block of wood. And I looked at her and smiled, and I'm like, of all the people back here that you were paired up with to encourage you, you were paired up with the guy that's on the State Republican Executive Committee, and I chair the Candidate Development Committee. You know, it sounds like God is speaking to you to run for office. And, she smiled. I think she truly believes it. I think she will. And she really seemed to be interested in state rep. And, we need to be going out there and finding people that have that calling. And if you're familiar with the 7 mountains of influence, which our new chaplain teaches on, Lance Wallnow teaches on, with their government, education, family, media, arts, business, and church, where so many people were, chased off to the church, and you can't take the church outside of the church. In our political club for the last 5 or 6 years, we're like, our club is a church club in a sense. We're a long-standing historical club, but I'm like, we're going to sing, we're going to pray, we're going to do all the church stuff right here in our club, which ticked off a person or two. But, we got to be out there. And we need to be finding people that truly, all of y'all are called to the political mountain. And just about all of y'all have a strong prophetic calling on your life also. And those mix together great. And when we can find people that have those callings, to plug them in, to get them trained to run for office, to help them run for office, that's what we need. And it's, our committees here that are getting these new people elected on the city council, school board. Those people in 10 years, a third or half of them may be state reps, state senators. But, we got to start back at the basics, which the Democrats have done for a long time. We're just now going back to do a field team with the low-level offices. And those people grow, and those people get excited. And, we need to be out there recruiting good people to run for office, because when we start bad people in low, they're bad people when they get to the state house. So we need to be really working on getting great quality people. And it's fun. We don't have to go searching out people. Holy Spirit will bring people right to you. You don't have to worry about that. A year ago at the conference, I had a gal from UK come and sit in front of me. And I just looked at her and I said, you interested in political? Yes. Parliament? Her eyes got big. Yes. And she tells me she was planning on running for parliament. And then she tells me that her biggest fear was that she was divorced, and that was a negative. I'm like, that's not a negative, that's a positive. You use that as a positive. Being divorced, quite a few people have gone through that. That makes you real for most people when they can look at you, oh, you've been divorced? I've been divorced. It's kind of, that's not the shame that it used to be, because, that happens. And it's like, we got to be out there finding people, quality people to pull into our offices. And the junk we're going through in Texas, it's going through the entire world. countries everywhere are fighting the same things that Christian Bentley is fighting here. So it's, you know, what goes on in Texas goes on everywhere. I was in Dubai when Ken Paxton got impeached. I was with 80-something people from China, and they were all running over asking me about it. And I'm like, how do people from China know about Ken Paxton on the day he gets impeached? But I mean, we're out here fighting. We need to have a great time. And Mr. Abraham, I'm going to yield my time and let us get back to a new resolution, because we got to get a good speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate your report and the work you guys are doing. The next report is from our conventions. Galen Devine to present our conventions report. And the final report will be from our grassroots. And Dorinda will do that right after.
I will be brief. I know y'all are tired and everyone's on their phone trying to figure out what's going on over at the Capitol. So while you're all on your phone, go to June 8th, 2026. June 8th through the 13th is the 2026 convention in Houston. I've gotten a lot of texts and calls about when's the next convention and where is it. That is your date. June 6th through the 13th, 2026 in Houston. June 8th through the 13th, that's a Monday through a Saturday, 2026. No, 2026. June 8th through the 13th, 2026 in Houston. David Wiley, y'all know him. Steve Evans, you know him. We are working on making that a great convention for everyone in Houston. Thank you, Chairman, for trusting us to get that going and get that taken care of for everyone. We'll have more information for y'all as it's available. But we appreciate your trust in us to make it a great convention. And we'll make a graphic that y'all can all share with your clubs to put in their newsletters to kind of help confirm that date and get that on everyone's calendar. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Galen. Houston is the location. We will have more details in the next probably few weeks with all the details. We'll bring that over to you. Dorinda Randall, Grassroots Committee Report.
Okay, the best for last. I know some of you, I've seen you have your eyes closed. I know you're praying. You're not sleeping. So this is my committee chairs. Rhonda Ward, and she was the vice chair. Vice chairs are pretty awesome, right? And then you've got the committee members, Galen Devine, Jerry Fisher, Saki Joseph, Brenda Estes, Gwen, Michael, Brandon, Cheryl Thompson Draper, and Robin Cooper. We had an awesome meeting, so we have a lot to cover, so I'm going to just go over all of it with you real quick. So the Grassroots Club, of course, you know that it was started by Steve Munisteri. It was $8.25 a month, and the thing is back then, it was meant to be the goal to cover the administrative costs for operating our RPT. Next. So this is actually our wonderful Virgil, who has left the building. Virgil, I'm bragging about you. So anyway, he found this, and it is when Tom Meckler had it and when he was chair. And it says on there, your membership in the GRC will help the RPT to become less dependent on contributions from major donors. Just 10,000 members will fund the most basic costs of the party. So that was what the focus was back then. And of course, we don't do the credit card information that you write it down anymore. So next. So now is the time to energize the grassroots, because we know a strong Republican Party is a strong Texas. If you look at the Democrats and what they had for their convention, they had to adjourn after day 2 because they couldn't even make a quorum, which really aggravates me when it comes to Speaker of the House, because how can these yahoos be the ones dictating to us who's going to be our speaker? Honestly. So, I mean, and I've been in this speaker fight. I actually worked on when Kim Paxton ran for speaker. I was there. I helped put all the votes together. And then I also ran the last 2 months of Scott Turner when he ran for speaker. So we're so close. Anyway, but that's why we've got to make our party the strongest that these legislators have ever seen, so that way they cannot ignore us. And plus, we had 6,800 delegates that said, stop this. But anyway, yes, ma'am. Yes. See, they heard us. He just won. But that's why, because it's 40 that walked out, those 40 in the Democrats could push them into 26 left? 26 walkouts. Okay, I'm going to stay with my report. But anyway, so here is our new logo for the Grassroots Club. And so you notice that, isn't it cute? Rhonda designed that. And so also we have redone the limits on it because of the fact that $8.25 doesn't even buy you eggs anymore. So $15 is fantastic for what you get out of this club. We have also changed a few things in the fact that we are not going to be convention-centered when it comes to the Grassroots Club. We are going to split that out, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So the Lone Star Club member is $15 a month. Then you have the Texas Trump 47 member, and we did check to make sure we weren't violating any type of HIPAA laws with taking the 47. HIPAA. Anyway, and then we have the Chairman's Circle. Chairman George, you're going to love it. And it's $100 a month. You do not keep half. No, sir. All right. So the next slide. Okay, it's time to engage Texans to build the Grassroots Club. What is the Grassroots Club? Because people will ask you. It is the sustaining membership program that's supporting the RPT, focused on empowering grassroots efforts, voter outreach, and election victories. Next. The objectives is to build a strong and engaged, informed base. So we're helping when it comes to training. We're helping when it comes to what does RPT do? What does that money go towards? Increase in reoccurring monthly contributions is what we're doing. Expand Republican influence at local and state levels. We all know that local levels is where the power is, and we've got to make sure that we are a critical force in showing that. Support party infrastructure and outreach initiatives is another thing. Okay, grassroots membership goals. Now, this is going to be fun. You guys are going to love this. We're going to educate people that they own this party. Like I said this morning, we are a grassroots up. We are bottom up party, and that's because our grassroots people own this party. The people own who's going to be in the speaker house. They have a voice. So educate them as to how and why they should support the RPT. In 6 months, Grassroots Club will have 5,000 members. That's what we're going for. SREC members to attain 50 members a month, each of us. In 12 months, a total membership of 8,000 members. We will increase monthly contributions by 1,000. Increase membership through SREC and club initiatives. Boost retention rates with exclusive perks. And I'll talk about that in a second. All right, next. Okay. Education and direct access is what we're going to be doing. This is how we're going to have the Grassroots Club. All levels will have access to early access to convention hotel. So we'll still keep the early access when it comes to the convention. That will still be in play. But what we'll do is the Trump 47 will have access to a twice a month 15-minute Zoom call with a vice chair and a special guest. Chairman's Circle, this will be periodic calls with the chairman and the grassroots people. Quarterly GRC events, that's what we will do, and we'll do that in cooperation with what Leslie is doing with and Jerry are doing with legislative priorities. We'll do that together, so then that way we can kill two birds with one stone. All right, next. All right, Lone Star, still early. I think I already, did I do that twice? Oh, you can just pass through that. Well, you know what? Go back to that one. That's when it comes to the convention perks. So Lone Star will still have early access to the RPT convention. Trump 47 will have early access to hotel, and they'll have a private event at the state convention. And then Chairman's Circle, early hotel access, private event, and then private event. So what this will be, Chairman George, is that you will get to have an event with these $100 a month donors. I'm very excited. I know. See, I told you he would be. And you know, who was it that said he wouldn't be? I can't remember who that was, but I was right. He's so excited. So these are also donors, Chairman, that I think it was Rhonda that said, these are great people for him to be talking to because they're probably people that will have more accessible funds to give more. And you can do your pitch at that point. See, he just got really excited. All right, next slide. Okay, so this is how we're going to, this is how we're going to grow the Grassroots Club. We're going to do the town halls with the legislative priorities. And also there's going to be training with Robin. So maybe we can tack on to what some of the training that you're doing with the county chairs. And we could have that also where we do our plug there. We're going to buy some retractable banners. Galen says they're like $10, Chairman. And so with a little bit of a few digits on it. Well, okay. Yes. Yeah, it's only a minute. So we'll have that, and that's gonna have a QR code on it. So that way, while it's displayed and you're at meetings, they can do the QR hit and they can go directly to the site. It's a tall standing one. Aren't those cool? Yes. See? I've already got somebody bought into it. It's fantastic. Okay, so we already talked about training sessions. We'll talk about this, and precinct chairs. So we've got to get our county chairs to buy into this as well. So that's where Robin comes in, who is on our committee, which that's so fantastic to tie that in. You're brilliant. Anyway, so we'll have that. And then we're going to do a digital campaign, Chairman. We're going to do a digital campaign where we are going to talk about becoming a grassroots member. He's on board. See, I told you. And then we'll do the email marketing through his newsletter. And then personal video stories. So this was something that Robin came up with is when it comes to you, and remember when I told you about the RPT digital at texasgop.org for Jordan? She's going to help put those videos together of you just like 10 seconds saying why you love being a Republican, why the Grassroots Club is necessary. So then that way we can do a little combination of those videos and put them out there because people love personal stories. They want to know why. And so, and we'll start a few so that way you'll know, and then we'll send it to you and you'll go, God, I'm going to do this. It's very exciting. So, and then local engagement. We're going to work with SREC members and local clubs to promote the Grassroots Club. Precinct chairs, when they block walk and when they talk to their voters in their district, they can also pitch it. Rhonda, can you hold up your card? She'll have that out in just a second. But when they go block walk, they can get this in front of people and they can also join and they'll know about the Grassroots Club.
It's going to be about that size. And why, Rhonda? Why did we do it that size? It's brilliant. So, and then we will have, some of the GOPs, they do things at different county fairs and different things like that. Like at Plano Balloon Festival, the GOP has a booth there. So we'll have something that we can give to them for them to advertise the Grassroots Club. So for you guys, of course, you guys are going to want to get people to get involved. So word of mouth, encourage your friends and family to have skin in the game for the Republican Party of Texas. The one thing that is apparent is, I know it's happened to you because it's happened to me. My friends that they were like, Trenda, just tell me who to vote for. No, they're not like that anymore. They are like, I want to get involved. I want to know what I can do. You can tell them, become a member of the Grassroots Club for $15 a month. So, and then SREC, we'll have a competition. We haven't made up the rules on that, but it's going to be super fun, and county chairs doing a competition of their areas. Are you wanting to say something, Dale? Nope. Okay, next slide. Keeping members engaged. We're going to do a Christmas card to thank them. Personalized thank you messages electronically to say thank you for joining. A grassroots piece for the RPT host exclusive GRC meetups. We're also going to do little pins, the little lapel pins. We're going to go back to that with the lovely new logo. Next. And funding the mission. It helps us with hiring staff for additional projects, election support, grassroots training, allows us to turn blue cities red. We need to get Harris County out of blue, and we need to make it red because we're pretty close. So, and then the more money that these legislators see that we're making at RPT, they're going to be more in line with us. Anyway, next. Timeline for implementation, December. And this is where I need your help because I need y'all to say yes to the increments, and then also, right? Don't I need their vote? And then the logo. I'm trying. I am. December Christmas cards are going to go out. January new dollar levels will be in definitions will be on the website. Next SREC, we're going to adjust our strategies, go to town halls across the state. September, host our first GRC event. October, push it out to hit year-end targets. Next, call to action. Together we can expand our influence and reach by being the strongest Republican Party in the nation. Become a GRC member today, because a lot of you aren't. And you may think that you are, but you're not, because something happened with our system a few years ago and you fell off. And now is your opportunity to come back on, because next, scan that QR code right now. It will take you to go ahead and join for the smallest amount is $15 a month. I would love that if you want to do more than that. And do you want to be part of the chairman's circle and see more of this guy? That's exciting. And then there's the email for the pictures as well for y'all to send. I put that on there. So I'm going to turn it back over to him. Yes, sir? Yes, did you have a... What? Yeah, just leave that up there. And then that's it. Do I turn it over for you to...
So
the logo approved and the levels.
All right, so we have... Hold on a second. Well, we're not done with the Grassroots Club yet, but I do have a question for you. All right, so since we don't have a resolution, it should have been a resolution, but since we don't have one, does any of you have an objection to changing the levels to the way Dorinda just mentioned today, 15, 47, and 100 with those three levels? If not, please support that by saying aye. I know you're totally out of control with the parliamentary rules here, but anyone is opposed, say nay. All right, you guys got it. Please go forward with your action items. And Scott.
There we
go.
go.
We are wrapping up. We're in new business at this point. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to suspend the bylaws to allow for 2 resolutions to be considered. One thanking the volunteers in the Republican Party, and then one regarding the GOP caucus vote.
All right. We have a motion to suspend the bylaws. Simple majority to take up. Second. All in favor? Is there a discussion? No. All in favor of suspending the bylaws, please say aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Rules are suspended for the resolution. Bylaws.
Mr. Chairman, this is one that I thought that we wouldn't want to overlook, and knowing my colleagues are just as grateful as I am. So this is a resolution thanking all of the Republicans who contributed to the November wins. Whereas 6,393,597 Texans cast their vote for Donald J. Trump, and whereas 5,990,741 Texans cast their votes for Ted Cruz, and whereas it took the efforts of thousands of liberty-loving volunteers to get out the vote and run election efforts. Sorry. Okay.
You can read it off the screen.
All the wins up and down the ballot. Therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the Texas State Republican Executive Committee, recognize all these unsung heroes and sincerely, heartily thank all of the Republican voter registrars, block walkers, phone bankers, envelope stuffers, campaign donors, forum hosts, precinct chairs, county chairs, poll judges and clerks, ballot board and signature verification committee members, and poll watchers for all the countless arduous hours of work they put in, which resulted in all the November election wins, which will benefit our communities, state, and nation for years to come.
Thank you, Karen. Do we have a second? Thank you. Are there any discussion on the resolved? Seeing none, are there any discussion on the whereas? Seeing none, are there any further discussion on the entire resolution? Seeing none, we're going to vote. Clickers, all in favor, please press 1A. Hold on yet. All opposed, 2B, and abstain is 3C as soon as Micah gets here. 1 second. Scott, do you have one more resolution? Do you have one more resolution?
Yes.
Hold on a second. All right, we're ready to go. Cheryl? 64 votes. What are the results? All right. With 64 yes and 0 no and 0 abstain, the resolution is adopted. Thank you. Karen.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of the the resolution urging GOP caucus unity. And,
Thank you, sir.
Hold
on a second. Hold on a second. Can we put that up? Do we have a second? We have a second. All right. We're moving forward. Scott, please read your resolution.
Yes. Okay. So whereas Plank 213 of the 2024 Republican Party of Texas platform states in part in the Texas legislature, we know this part, whereas the Texas House Republican Caucus met on December 7th, 2024 to nominate a candidate for speaker in compliance with the platform, and whereas in the third vote, 26 Republican representatives walked out on the Texas House Republican Caucus vote in an attempt to deny quorum to the caucus so that a candidate could be elected with Democratic votes. And whereas the Texas House Republican Caucus voted on the third ballot to support Representative David Cook of Tarrant County as their official nominee. Whereas after extensive meetings with and concessions offered by Representative Dustin Burrows, the Texas House Democratic Caucus has released its members to vote for a Republican speaker candidate other than Representative Cook in an effort to stop Republican agenda items such as school choice, ending taxpayer-funded lobbying, and ending the practice of appointing Democratic chairs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Republican Party of Texas urges all members of the Texas House Republican Caucus to unite behind Representative David Cook and to immediately and publicly commit to vote for him in the floor vote for Speaker of the House. And be it further resolved that the Republican Party of Texas calls on Representative Dustin Burrows and any other Republican representatives who have active campaigns for Speaker of the House to immediately suspend any campaign activities for Speaker of the House and to commit to support Representative Cook. And be it further resolved that the Republican Party of Texas condemns any effort by Republican representatives to ally with Democrats to elect a speaker who is not supported by the majority vote of the Texas House Republican Caucus. And there's more. Yeah. Be it further resolved that the Republican Party of Texas praises the representatives who did not originally support the caucus election winner, but attended the final vote anyway in a spirit of unity, and encourages them to unify behind Representative Cook in any floor vote. And by the way, just breaking from the resolution from a second, apparently they have committed to do that. So that would bring us up to 62 votes if they follow through on that. Be it for... the 14 who voted for Dustin Burrows in the final vote, it was 48-14, have committed within the caucus to voting for Cook in a floor vote, to voting for the winner. That is the latest that we've heard. And finally, be it further resolved that a vote for any attempt to change the rules to allow a secret ballot vote in a floor vote for Speaker of the House will be interpreted by the SREC and by Republican voters as an attempt to hide a vote with Democrats, and as such will be considered equivalent to a vote for a speaker supported by Democrats.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any? Thank you, guys. Are there any discussion on this? On the resolved?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jeremy Story, SD. Sorry, it's a little low. SD 5. I just want to say that the whole reason why we are here in part for Texas, the Texas part of why we're here instead of the federal part, is to see what happens in the legislature in terms of passing our legislative priorities. We all know that they tend to sail through the Senate and have for over 20 years, many times stalled in the House. And today we had a fair election in the caucus. I commend both people who ran, Cook and Burrows. Burrows lost, and the agreement is that the caucus chose Cook. And so I would just encourage all of us to, of course, vote for this resolution, but also to be firmly resolved as individuals beyond this resolution to actively fight against, fund, recruit opponents for, actively work towards censure for any Republican out of that 40, the 14 that were in the room, or the 20 or 26 or so that walked out, that any of them to go to the floor and violate the will of the Republican caucus, that we would all individually stand firmly against them both now and in their future elections should they choose to violate the will of the Republican caucus, in addition to this resolution.
Thank you, sir. Anyone in opposition of this resolution?
Chairman Daniel Hunt, Senate District 3. I have what Mr. Bowman may consider a friendly amendment. I would like to add, after the last word supported by Democrats before the period, comma, which the SREC will consider a censurable act. Because I think we need to make it blatantly clear to these fools that we're not playing anymore.
Yeah.
We have an amendment. Do we have a second? Okay, we have way too many seconds on that. So, Susan Lucas. Are there any discussion on the amendment?
Yeah, I'm fine with. Yeah, I'm fine with this being clarified. I felt like this was kind of implied anyway, but I feel it's fine. But we do have to take a vote on it. There's no such thing as a friendly amendment.
Right. Since there are no discussions on it, we're gonna. Yes, sir.
I do. And if you'll allow me without screaming and hollering, Scott, I'm just going to speak once, and I'm going to speak against this. This is a tough one for me. Representative Burrows is my representative. He is my friend. And you can. I know. And you
He's
can all
speaking.
holler
Let him speak.
peanut gallery if you want. But I stood beside him when he voted for Scott Turner against Joe Strauss. He voted for the most conservative candidate. I know the man. And I'm hoping and praying that he doesn't compromise his principles should he win. But I'm going to stay with my friend, and I'm going to vote no on this. And I just want to be on record. I agree with all of you 99% of the time, but I'm going to stand beside Dustin Burrows and stand beside my friend and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in favor of this amendment? Favor? Are you in favor of the amendment or in opposition?
I'm going to abstain from this vote till I talk to Dustin Burrows. I've worked for him for 10 years. Although I know Democrats, they never really play with us. They always kiss and make up and unify and do their thing. So, but on this other side recently, this bluebonnet thing, that vote was 134 to 6, that HB 1605. So, I want to see I want to see what the people in my district feel and all, but I do think this is I'm certainly not offended by anyone that's doing what they're doing here, because I understand it, and I understand Democrats.
Thank you, ma'am. I understand you were in that district, and I get it. Anyone in favor of the amendment?
Just
Yes, sir.
speaking in favor of the amendment real fast. So we do need a vote in favor of the amendment to add this text, which I think a lot of people would appreciate the clarification on. And also, just to clarify quickly, because someone did ask, under Rule 44, 3 violations are needed, and this would be 1. But just to make sure that's well known. But yes, please vote for the amendment and then vote for the resolution.
All right, so we're going to vote for the amendment. Seeing no further discussion on this, all in favor of amending the resolution to add those words which the SREC will consider a censurable act, say aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment passed. Now we're back on the resolution itself. And are there any more discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, we are going to vote on the resolution. It will be a record vote. As soon as Micah is ready, we will go in. You ready? All right. 1A, if you are in favor of the resolution. 2B, if you are opposing the resolution. And 3C, if you are abstaining from the resolution. Ready? Yes, ma'am. 1A for if you are in favor of the resolution. 2B if you are against the resolution. And 3C if you are abstaining. Cheryl Wells. We have 63 votes in. What's the numbers? Yes, we are closing the vote in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the results are 60 members in support of favor of the resolution, 1 against, and 2 abstain. 61 and 2. The resolution passed and adopted. Thank you, guys. That was the last agenda item. Our next item is announcement, and the next meeting is in March, and we are not quite sure about the location yet. We're back at the original location, not the original, but the last one. A little cheaper than this, a lot more fancier. Yes. Thank you, guys. Are there any other announcement? If you have any announcement, I would like to give you 1 minute each. Be brief and 1 minute. Yes, sir. Chuck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this working? As you mentioned earlier, we flipped 2 seats to now become Republican. We changed 2 Democrat seats to Republican seats. One of them you mentioned earlier was Denise Villalobos in Corpus Christi, my home city in Nueces County, SD 20. Now, Texas is a large state. It's actually the largest because Alaska's mostly ice. But we have a governor that's traveled all over the place. I want everybody here to know.
Hey, guys, please listen.
I want everybody to know that Governor Abbott came to Corpus Christi 3 times, and only to support other things, but to support Denise Villalobos. So she's now a Republican representative in the House, but he put a lot of effort into her, and I want y'all to be aware of that. So whenever I get through here, I'd like to lead, if you would lead us in a little bit of applause or something, or recognition of Governor Abbott's efforts. But Governor Abbott is still doing more. We have a contested race right now in Nueces County. The Nueces County Republican Party endorsed Michael Hunter for city council, for mayor, and this party right here, this body, also endorsed him. So he's now in a runoff fight. The lady he's running against has been running ads that shows Governor Abbott with her, and saying that Michael Hunter's been voting for Democrats, all kind of stuff. Well, I let Mr. Ministeri's already left, but he's still here. I called Steve and was contacting him. I'd let him know everything that's going on. I said, can Governor Abbott step in? Before the end of the day, Governor Abbott had endorsed Michael Hunter for mayor of Corpus Christi. So he's been very good to Corpus Christi and to South Texas, and I want everybody here to be to recognize Governor Abbott, what he's done for it.
We are very grateful for Governor's office and Governor Abbott and his team for everything they've done for us during the last few months, and especially during the election cycle. That goes for our Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, and all of our elected officials statewide. They're all worked very hard to get real good Republicans in office. And the only reason we have a real fight in the speaker's race today is because of the primaries we went through. And I am thankful for that from Governor Abbott's team, from Dan Patrick's team, Sid Miller's team, Attorney General Ken Paxton's team. Everyone stepped in and stepped up and worked hard to make sure we have real Republicans. We didn't make every single race, but that's why we have more primaries coming up. And thank God for that. And next one will be closed. So closed primaries, I can see a lot of these people getting primaried out. And thank you all for being here. Yes, ma'am?
Just real quick, I was going to say, please give your clickers to Abby and Ashley at the back of the room. We love you. Merry Christmas. Please don't stay here because we have to clear this room. So if you guys get out, staff can clean it up. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas. God bless you all. Thank you for being here for the last couple of days, and thanks for all your hard work. If there are no objection, meeting is adjourned. God bless you all. See you all probably in the next few